This was probably one of my toughest bumpers to do. This had a massive crack in it, so I took my blowtorch to heat it up so I was able to push it back together. I then used my hot stapler to reinforce the bumper and grabbed a soldering iron to meld it all back together again. Once I had the hole completely melted back together, I moved on to sanding with 120 grit with my DA sander. I wiped the bumper down and then added a layer of body filler. Once the body filler hardened, I moved on to sanding with 220 grit. I put one more layer of body filler in for the pinholes, then sanded it out with 220 grit. I then hand sanded with 400 grit, then scuffed the bumper up and cleaned it off before priming. Since this had a lot of sanding, I added 2 coats of high build primer. When the primer was dry, I wet sanded with an 800 grit wet sanding sponge, then tacked it off and it was ready for paint. I added 2 coats of paint, tacked it off, and then added 1 coat of clear. After the first coat was dry, I added a second layer of clear. I was pretty impressed with the results. If you have any tips or tricks of your own, let me know in the comments.